Hello everyone, this is Jeannie. Welcome to my channel. For those who are returning visitors, welcome back. Thank you. I truly do appreciate it. I want to share with you a project that I am just about done with. And I also wanted to take this opportunity, since this project wasn't a very complicated one, to make my first tutorial video here on YouTube. If you have been watching my videos, you will know that in my last, well, no, it wasn't the last one, but the one before that, Tuesday morning haul video, I had mentioned that I wanted to do um, more tutorials or more videos where I show what I make using my purchases from Tuesday morning and just pretty much from any other place that I make purchases from. I was thrilled when I got so many responses expressing an interest in seeing those videos. So this is going to be my first attempt to do just that. So hopefully this will not be too painful to watch, and I will try to keep it short, brief, and to the point. So first, let me share with you what materials I am using to make this project. First of all, what is the project? Okay, the project, Christmas cards. It's about that time of the year. I don't know about you guys, but I need tons of Christmas cards. I need Christmas cards for my Girl Scouts. I need Christmas cards for my co-leaders, for my service unit, for co-workers, for friends, for my daughters. Oh my gosh, friends. It just goes on and on and on. I need tons of Christmas cards. And I love stamping, but I certainly do not have the time to sit and stamp out and color in excess of 50 cards, which is what I am estimating I'm going to need this year. I think this year I'm going to need close to 60 Christmas cards. Yeah, I can't stamp out 60 Christmas cards and color them in. I'll lose my mind. So here's a quick project, and also here's an opportunity to craft your stash. So what am I using? I am going to use these MAMBI cards. I picked up this cardstock pack probably a couple of weeks ago, and I showed it in one of my videos. But this is awesome. This is 5 by 10.5 cardstock that has a that's pre-scored, so that when you fold it, I'll show you what it looks like. Here's what it looks like when you remove it from the pack. 5 1/4 by 10.5. It comes pre-scored, so when you fold it on the score line, and I use a bone folder just to kind of reinforce the fold and just give it a clean, crisp look. When you fold it along that line, you end up with a card base that is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. That's perfect. Okay, I cut some squares in coordinating colors. This particular cardstock is not from Tuesday morning. This is actually some Stampin' Up! Cardstock that I ordered a little bit ago. And I love the colors, been wanting to use them. They coordinate perfectly with the patterns in this cardstock. And let me show you the SKU in case anyone is interested in picking this up. There it is. $2.99. You got 24 cardstock cards. That's awesome. So what I did was I took some coordinating cardstock and I cut it in 4 1/2 by 4 1/2 squares. Okay, so here's my base, 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Here is a little layer on top of it, a panel if you will, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I also used the cards in an instant kit. Do you guys remember those? Here, do you remember these? I showed these in I think at least 2 of my Tuesday morning videos. I show when I picked up these kits. One of them was called Vintage Christmas, and I'm not sure what the other one was called, but here's this is the vintage. I think this was the Vintage Christmas one. There's the SKU for anyone who's interested, and also here's the SKU for the second pack that I picked up. Okay. Now, these kits, these instant cards, came with two types of cards. They came with kind of like a tag, a to and from tag, and it also came with just some really pretty images that are not to and from tags. Images like this one. I love this vintage Santa, and this one. Love that. And that one. Okay, those are just three of the many that it came with. So, using the cardstock paper, using the cards in an instant, also some double-sided tape, and some buttons, and I'll show you the buttons that I use. Here are the buttons. These are buttons that I also picked up from Tuesday Morning. This particular set is called Christmas Baking. And there's the skew. Hopefully we can see that. And then there was the Christmas Traditions. And this is the skew for the Christmas Traditions one. Okay, this one was called Christmas Traditions. And as you can see, I used up pretty much all of that. All right, this is all that's left from the kit. Okay, so using all of those, I'm going to make some super cute cards. Now, I will say, if you are using buttons, the majority of buttons have a shank. Let me find one with a shank. Here's a shank. Here's a button. Okay, I'm going to use this button. Has a shank. See that shank? That's not going to work for a card. So what I do is I take a pair of snippers, and I think I got these at the Dollar Tree. And I go ahead and I snip the shank off. There it goes, flying across the room. So that button is ready for me to use. So to save some time here, I did a little prep. Here's the base. Well, let's move this to the side. Here's the base. Here's the panel that's going on top. I put some double-sided tape on the back. So let's go ahead and peel this. I have made so many of these cards already because they are super quick. And once you figure out the design and the layout, you can almost do this assembly style. So, again, here's the base. Put this down. Here's the panel. We're going to put this on top. And I very rarely get it exactly centered, but that's okay. Handmade means it's not perfect. Okay. There's the base with the panel. Then you take, let's do this. The image, I also put double-sided tape on the back of this one. And I used the grid on my craft mat to kind of help keep the cards straight, to help me with the placement just a little bit. Doesn't always work, but it certainly does help some. And I try to center that as best I can. And again, if it's not perfect, so what? It's handmade. Okay. Isn't that cute? And super easy. So now what we're going to do is let's pick a button. I like this candy cane. Super cute. And adhere it to the card just for some interest. I'm going to use some of this fabric tack glue. I love this stuff. I use it for just about everything. You can use any kind of glue. If you want, you can use hot glue. I have this on my desk. This is what I'm going to use. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, and I'm sorry I'm off camera, but there's nothing interesting going on here. Just me applying some glue. Let me put the cap back on this thing because it does like to ooze everywhere. Adhere that to the card. This glue dries pretty quickly. And there we have it. How cute is this card? Now you could, if you had distress inks, ink up the edges. If you had some twine, you can run some twine between the panels and tie a bow. But since I have to make so many of these, I decided to keep it just this simple. So let me go ahead and do another one. So here we have our red base, 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. I have a green panel I'm going to put on top that. And then I have another one of the instant card images. Now, I have double-sided tape on the back of the panel and on the back of the image. Okay, what I like to do, okay, you see how the tape is running in the up-down direction for the front panel? Okay, if I remember, I always don't, I can't say that I remember to do this all the time. What I like to do is try to run the tape in the panel in the opposite direction. So you kind of create a crossbar. And I find that that eliminates some of the sag that you sometimes get when you pop up a card. If you don't use a lot of tape, you might get a little sag in those areas where you don't have the tape. So I try to eliminate some of that sag by making sure that if I have 2 panels, the tape on one panel is maybe going across and the front panel is just going in a different direction, creating kind of like a crossbar. Okay, so let's quickly adhere this. Oh my gosh, guys. It's insane how many cards I have to make this year. And I am actually doing pretty good because I usually don't start until the first week of December. But this year I have so many cards to make that I decided I better get on it and start earlier. So let me go ahead and try to center this. I could never get it exactly centered, but that's okay. That's okay. There's the base. Okay, here's my top panel. And I love these Christmas buttons. They are so cute. Okay, let's try to get this on here. Close enough. Super cute. And for this one, why don't we attach the little teddy bear button? I'm going to use that same glue. So yeah, I am determined to use more of my stash. I use a lot of it, and sometimes, well, most of the time I'm crafting so late at night that I can't film because I'm afraid I'm going to wake the dogs up. And if I wake the dogs up, oh boy, it is just, everybody in the house ends up waking up because those dogs are loud. They are. So I don't show a lot of what I make. So I'm going to try to be better about that, guys, so that you can see some of the things that I enjoy making using my stash. So there's the glue on the back of the button. Let's quickly drop this on here. Little press. And don't overthink these cards. They're meant to be simple. They are simple. How cute is that? Okay, so pretty much, like I said, once you get a rhythm going, you end up with quite a collection of cards. So let me go ahead and show you, my goodness, lots of them, what I have made. so far. So just made this one. We saw that one. Saw this one. How cute are these? I am thrilled with the way they turned out. How cute is this little elf button? I made all of these cards while I was catching up on my shows that are pre-recorded on my DVR. Also made me some hot chocolate. So yeah, good crafty night for me. So hopefully this video wasn't too painful. Hopefully you're inspired to craft your stash, and I think I'm going to continue to make these videos and share with you and hopefully inspire you to craft your stash. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I truly do appreciate it, and I hope you visit me again. Until next time, bye-bye.